Good morning, everybody. I'm Melisa Nielsen with Waldorf Essentials, and I'm back in my house. We had a wonderful, pretty darn amazing, right, Daddy? It was an amazing vacation.
It was.
It was really good. We were gone for 15 days. We were supposed to be gone for 16 days, but the very tail end, we crammed 2 days into one and drove all the way home. We drove, what did you say, 750 miles that day?
Yeah.
We just really wanted to sleep in our own bed that night.
Salt Lake to San Diego is 750 miles.
Yeah, and we've done that trip before, but we just done that long stretch before, but no, we really wanted to just come home and sleep in our own bed. And so that's why we did it really fast that last night. So, but we had so much fun. We went to for those of you who didn't follow us on our Instagram stories, we went to, kind of did a circle. We started in San Diego and we went up through, my grandma lives in Fremont, so we went to visit her, and then we went to Mount Shasta. We also visited my uncle who lives in Manteca, and we went to Mount Shasta, through Sacramento, up through Mount Shasta. We saw, there's a really cool, if you're ever up there, there's a really cool museum. It's not very big, it's very small, but we spent probably 2 hours in there at Mount Shasta. That was really neat. There's this giant fish hatchery that they said was the largest, oldest fish hatchery this side of the Mississippi. So that was really cool. And we learned, I had no idea. In my head, I was like, I don't know how these fish get where they're going. But we learned that they actually drop them out of an airplane. So they must scoop them up, go over the lake, and then drop them out. And apparently they only lose 2% or something like that, which I just thought was totally, my mind was completely blown. But that was really cool. So we went there, and then we went, my son Jacob lives in Vancouver, Washington. So we went up there. We did stop for a day, and I spent it with Len and Clark's Thinking, Feeling, Willing group up in Salem, Oregon. So we went there. We went up to see Jacob, and Jacob lives sort of Vancouver's on the Portland, next to Portland. So we went and spent time in Portland and spent time on the coast and went to Manzanita. We had a lot of fun. And then we went to the next day we went to this really cool, first I should say, we went to the Lewis and Clark Junior Ranger program, because Soraya is all about the Junior Ranger program right now. So if you're not doing the Junior Ranger program with your kids and you live in the United States, you really should look it up. The National Parks Junior Ranger program I think it's pretty cool. I mean, we had a lot of fun, and it's very informative, and she's at the ripe age. So she's 8, and she's still needs a little bit of help reading some of the things, but she's very excited to accomplish. And you get a little badge. And some of the badges, some of the places we went to, the badges were wooden, which is nice. Some of them were plastic, but that's still and then she has a little Junior Ranger vest that she has, and she's so excited about it. Being that she's the last child, and I have a little more budget than I did with the older ones. She's like, I love the Junior Ranger, or the Ranger's outfit. I want to be able to put my patch on my sleeve. You can't do that with the vest. So there is actually a Junior Ranger outfit. So I had to buy that for her. It's not here yet. I will take plenty of pictures once it gets here, because she's going to be probably wearing it dawn till dusk a lot. So we went there, Lewis and Clark National Parks, and there's actually 4 or 5 in that area, but we just went to one. Then we went to this really cool museum. If you were ever in the Dalles, Oregon, this really cool museum, it's called the Neon Sign Museum, and it doesn't sound very cool when you just think about it, but we went, and it was actually really great for chemistry for Sam, and because we learned how they make neon signs, how they make the gases work, how it started, and there was information there on Edison and Tesla and the stuff that they had been starting, and how poor Tesla's 10 minutes too late again. And then there was, what was that guy's name? Claude? Was that the last name?
I think so.
That sort of came up with the idea, the first tube. And so the guy at the museum actually had the very first tube, and he had a huge array of neon signs from, you know, when it was like invented all the way to today. And it really, what was great is it got us really looking at like where neon signs are, because they are hand blown. So they're not like mass produced. Like, so you might see, you know, a sign for a store and it's like mass produced. And so, but these are not. These are all hand blown. And we got to sort of watch this film about this guy who was doing a hand blown design, and sort of all of the steps. And they use the different gases that they use to make the different colors. Was so cool. It was so much more informative than I thought it would be when Eric was like, hey, look, let's go to the Neon Sign Museum. And I was like, all right, maybe. But we went, and it was probably one of the coolest parts of our trip. It's definitely, the kids thought it was one of the coolest parts. So we went there. I went there with my son Jacob. We had so much fun. It was so neat. So if you haven't checked that out and you're in that area, you should definitely look it up. It's in the Dalles, Oregon, which is about an hour out of Portland. So worth the drive. So then we went to Baker City, which is about an hour on the Oregon side of Boise, Idaho, and that there was an amazing Oregon Trail museum. So that's actually not a national park. It's owned by BLM, but they honor the National Parks Pass. So we went there, and we probably spent 3 or 4 hours there. That was pretty cool. It was a pretty interesting like walk through that, because we have done some Oregon Trail stuff. We've done, you know, I'm thinking about all my other kids, and we've done the Lewis and Clark Trail. We focus mostly on like the Mormon Trail, because that's our faith. So like the handcart companies. But what just made me laugh about the Oregon Trail was one of the things that they said that was very popular was everybody, because they were mostly affluent people in the East that were coming to the West on the Oregon Trail. So they had like stuff. And they said that there were a lot of like big, giant cast iron stoves that were left along the Oregon Trail. And I just had to laugh, because I thought, who packs the stove? So I just was sort of laughing about that. So that was a really cool museum, and it was very well done, and very interesting, very, very interesting. So then we went to Boise and saw Eric's brother, and then we went to Yellowstone the next day. That was another big haul. I think that was about 6.5 hours. And we used to live below the Teton Mountains, so we went to Yellowstone on a fairly regular basis. But it was the first time the younger two had like a recollection of going, and we had fun there. We just did the lower loop, and again, Junior Ranger program. I think we spent 4 hours on the Junior Ranger program there, but we did that, and then we hung out with family in Rexburg for a while, and then we went down to the Golden Spike National Park. That was pretty cool. It's where the 2 railroads met in the 1800s, when they put the railroad together, and it went finally all the way across. So we went there and visited with Kelly. And I know some of you know our news. We have given her wings. She is an amazing coach. So if you've got any trauma going on in your life, you want to reach out to Kelly. Kelly is an amazing coach. And we are feeling the crunch on our end, but it's all good, because we will have somebody new hired by the end of the month. But I would suggest, if you've got any trauma going on in your life and you're really struggling, you want to hop over to her profile on Instagram as That Mom Kelly, and you can catch her at thatmomkelly.com on the web, and you can catch her blog and sort of get in touch with her there. So she's really good trauma coach. So if you've got you're a parent of kids that have some major struggles, she'd be a great person to chat with. If you have suffered through trauma yourself through your life and you're really trying to get out of it, again, she's a great person to work with. So that's maybe about Kelly. So we saw her, and then we saw my parents and came on home. It just took 15 days to do the whole thing. So we had a good time though. So we're here, but then next week we are going to be gone again. My mother-in-law's coming, and she's taking us to Universal Studios. So I will be at Hogwarts next Monday. And so we will do a recorded video and release it at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Pacific. So with that little 6 a.m., I want to say this is a big change for us. So listen up if you listen to us regularly. Starting the first week in October, and then from there on, we are changing from 6 a.m. Pacific to 7 a.m. Pacific from here on out. So I spend a lot of time meditating in the morning, and I got to get up at 4 in order to meditate before Mondays. So I just thought, you know what, I'm in charge. I can move some stuff. So we're going to move things starting in October to 7 a.m. Pacific with our Monday morning videos. So that is all the announcements I can think of. The topic for next week is going to be another sort of unplugged. I have some thoughts, and I don't know how well they will be received, but the last ones were received way better than I thought. So I will record something and have it ready for you guys next Monday. Today's topic is sort of your relationship with time and getting that relationship with time sorted out. I think that for me as a choleric, my relationship with time has always been something that I'm like, I gotta move this here and move that there, and rather than letting things flow, it's very easy for me to just compartmentalize everything and have to put everything in a little time block. And when you sort of create a rhythm, you do that a bit, but you want to sort of be in the place of letting it flow. But what I tend to see a lot of is a lot of moms that are like, I just can't get it all done. I can't get everything done that I need to get done. And they've gotten themselves overscheduled, and they're really struggling with sort of how to get all those moving parts in. Now, there is an added layer if you're like us and you're running a business from home. And if you are, I invite you to check out Biz Schooling. So it's waldorfessentials.com/biz schooling. We are working with a bunch of families in there to sort of help them do that, help them really get their schedules where they feel good with it and they feel like they're giving their family the time that they need. So I will say that there were many years that I had to struggle with time. And then I realized that like the very first time I did my own actual rhythm chart, it was kind of by accident. I kept thinking there is something missing here and I got to figure out what it is. And so being the like wrestle it to the ground person that I am, sometimes I tend to overthink for sure, but I just kept track. I kept track for a week and really trying to figure out like why is it that I feel like I should have more time, but I don't? And that's often what happens. We overschedule ourselves because we don't think things are going to take as long as they actually take, or we're not very honest with ourselves about like what we're actually doing. So I think it's really interesting and important to note, and we've said this before, the mind lies. Like 50% of the time, your brain, your mind is lying to you. So, and it's because your perceptions are not what you think they are. And so it's really important to sort of get that baseline of where's my time going? And when you get that baseline of where's my time going, then you can look at the picture and go, oh, I need to cut this out over here. I need to move this over there. I need to let this lady know that I can't actually do that. And then we have to become very good at this one very small sentence. And it's like a single word, but it's one sentence. And that is no, period. Not no, comma, or not no, I'm sorry, or just no. And get very good at saying no. And sometimes we're saying no to something because it will completely like screw your schedule up otherwise. And we're not very good, I think, as women and as homeschooling moms especially. We're often in the space of, oh, but they have to do this and they have to do that and they have to, they have to move all around all these places. And they really don't. They really don't. I think that we live in a time where people are afraid to just be. We were at, I have a lovely friend, we were at a baby shower this weekend, and love her dearly. It was really funny because I was talking with another friend and we were sitting together and it was all quiet. It was all quiet. And it was like everybody that was there couldn't handle the silence. So somebody had to turn on some music. But we have to be in a place where we can handle the silence. Like, it's okay to handle the silence. It's okay to handle the slow spots. It's okay to just be. It's okay to sit on the couch and knit while your kids play. You don't have to be doing something. Your house will still be there calling your name after you've had that time to just be. What I find is when I balance those times of just being with doing, and I'm not like out of balance with them, everything falls in line. Everything. All of my time works for me. When I am freaking out about the doing and just doing, then it just is all wonky. And I will say, I'm really good at this, but we came home from our trip, and, you know, even I worked on our trip every day a little bit. I came home and I had like 300 emails that I was trying to sort through, and oh my gosh, I have these projects that came up, like, that I had these great ideas about while I was gone, and I wanted to, and it was very easy for me to shift back into this place of, I don't know how it's all gonna get done. It's got like that freaking out place. So if you're in that freaking out place, trust me, it gets better, but you have to force yourself. So I doubled down on my meditation. I made myself walk away from my desk, because guess what? Well, the email's still gonna be there when I sit back down. It's okay. I'm not Amazon, so you're not gonna get an answer from me in 6 hours usually. So I like breathed deep, and I stepped away, and I did that for like almost 2 full days, and just got myself back into the space. It was funny because then I walked down here and get ready for the video today, and I turned to Eric and I said, time works for me. I'm not stressed out about my inbox anymore. I'm not stressed out about what I've got to do, because time works for me. And when you can come to it from that attitude of time works for me, it will work for you. If you are stressed out constantly, it will not work for you. But I also know my time works for me because I know where my time's going. So if you are resistant to the actual rhythm chart and finding out where your time's going, I have moms say to me, I don't want to know where my time goes. That would stress me out. But here's the deal. If you don't know where your time goes, then you are doomed to stay in that spot of racing everywhere. And I don't like racing everywhere. You know, I'm a pretty driven person, but I like to be on the low down, on the slow, on the just breathing. I sort of laugh because we live in San Diego, but we live in like this beach community where things should be like slower, like more chill. Like, you shouldn't be racing to get to the stoplight just to stop. And we were coming home a few weeks ago, the kids and I, and there was this guy like totally at my butt on the car. And I'm thinking, dude, you're racing to get to the beach? Like, really? So I got out of his way because I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry. So I'm a pretty courteous driver. You will see me get out of your way if I can see you're in such a hurry that you've got to get there. So I get out of his way just to have him be at the next light with me and then have him be behind me again. I don't know how that happened, but like 3 times the kids were like, Mom, what's with this guy? And so, like, you know, I'm watching him as we pull into our little beach community. He's like racing himself to the beach. I thought, well, you got a hot date on the beach. Maybe you're late. But, you know, when you're in that space of like race, every light is going to be red. Everyone. People are going to make you mad. People are going to be in your way. Everyone. So think about, if you are somebody who yells at people when you drive, or if your partner is, think about how that drive actually goes. But when you're in a relaxed place and everything works for you, like, it's like the heavens open and angels move people out of your way, and you get actually to where you need to go. And it's the same amount of time. It's the same amount of time. So I really want to encourage you, if you're struggling with time, to step back and ask yourself, what is it that I'm trying to accomplish here? Am I trying to be a present-centered mom that is present with kids, that is present with my partner, that is conscious of what I'm doing? And if that's what I'm trying to be, then I am ready to change the way I look at everything. If you look at your day as that it doesn't have enough time in it, then it will not have enough time in it. If instead you look at your day as, I will get done what I can get done, and I will save the rest for tomorrow, and it will all be okay, and I know how to prioritize so that the things that are most important are at the top of the list. And, and that's a huge thing, understanding how to prioritize. But if you can look at it from that space, it will all get done. It will all get done. And that doesn't mean you won't be under a crunching deadline. I'm definitely under those often. But I also know when to be under a deadline and when to not. So not everything can be a rush. Not everything can be under a deadline. And if you are looking at your life where everything is under a deadline and you're always rushing and your kids are in the car and out of the car and in the car and out of the car, you have to stop yourself. And you have to ask yourself, what is it that I am trying to accomplish? Do I want kids that have a hurried life? Or do I want sort of this dream that I tried to create when I decided to homeschool, which was that they were, they would have a more centered, slower life? Because having kids that are in the car, out of the car, in the car, out of the car all day long, you might as well send them to school. Because they probably would have less rigor at school than you do when you've got them in the car, out of the car all day long. So really think about it. Really think about what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And there are so many things we can do. I totally get, because the sanguine in me lights up. I'm like, all the things. I just want to do all the things. Don't I, Eric? And he's like, you don't have time to do all the things. Yes, I do. He's like, nope, you got time to do two of the things. So if you are in that space of like wanting all the things and wanting to, have all the things, you have to really sort of look at your relationship with yourself and why you think you need all the things or to be doing all the things. You have to look at your relationship with sort of your homeschooling self and why you don't think that you're confident enough to bring your children what they need from home. Like, that's an ouch. I know. You're like, ow, that stung. I know. And you also have to be able to tell those well-meaning people that think that you should do all the things, no, actually, I don't need to. It's really okay. And when you first get started saying, no, that's okay, I don't need to, the first time you're like really scared and nervous about it. But after you say it, you're like, oh, wait a minute. I all of a sudden have more power because I just said, no, thank you. So get really good at saying, maybe you have to practice in the mirror. It's totally cool. Say, that actually does not work with my belief system. I love that one. That's not part of my belief system. Or, no, that's okay. I don't need to do that. I know that you think I need to do that, but these are my kids, and I don't need to do that. Or to your partner, just say, honey, I know you really think they need to be in hockey and football and basketball, but unless you're willing to take the time off from work to ferry their butts there every day, then you're going to have to leave it up to me because it's not happening. Come up with a compromise as needed, for sure, but don't run yourself ragged. Running yourself ragged is just a recipe for you being exhausted and not the mom you want to be. So get a good relationship with time. There's no magic bullet. The magic bullet is actually you. The magic bullet is you knowing exactly what you are doing so that you can orchestrate some things around. So again, actual rhythm chart. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up the video or the audio if you're listening to this on the podcast, called My Secret to Rhythm. I think it's called My Secret to Rhythm. And we talk about it some more there. It's in our Planning for Peace journal. It's in Mom Lesson 1. I actually think there's even one on the resources page. Like, understanding your actual rhythm is really, really important. And when you understand it, you can fly. You can do so many more things when you know where your time actually goes. So for sure, check that out. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week. We are starting school today, and I'm super excited. Super excited. Spent yesterday making sure all my stuff was prepped, which is great because on Friday I was like, crap, I don't know if I can start school on Monday. But guess what? I got my time relationship back going, and it all worked out. It all worked out because it usually does. Things work out for me because I believe that they do. So they can work out for you too. Believe it, and they will. And when you believe it, people say, oh, you can't just believe it. Yes, you believe it. And then as you get little promptings and ideas, then you act on them. And that's how things work out. Because the universe says, hey, I heard you believed. I'm looking down on you. I heard you believed. Here you go. Here's bone. Here's how to do it. Because we're not given something to do without a way to do them. So yes, have a good week. I will see you on a recorded video next week. And then the week after that, I am not sure what my topic is. If there is something that you would like me to talk about that I have not talked about, please drop me a PM or DM, and I'm happy to put that on the list. Hope you guys have a wonderful week.